Well, Scott asked me to go fishing on a Z19 bass boat, and I jumped at the opportunity. We took off from Hickory Point. We're heading toward the southern shore where there's an abundance of fish attractors and the kaolin mining ditch, on the slopes of which there's a lot of shell beds. We're passing by Drake's Point development on the left, which is currently under construction. It actually hasn't even started yet. You see me pointing to it. And that's where new homes are going to be built, and they're actually starting to do some work on Route 48. Leave comments below, click like, and subscribe using the YouTube icon in the lower right hand corner. The wind today is out of the south-southeast, mainly east, I guess east-southeast, and so where we're going, we're a little bit protected, but you can still see ripples in the water here. So I started with a Carolina rig, trying to pull it over and through these fish attractors, and I did feel one underneath, but no fish was biting it. I was using a ribbon-tail worm, trying to get them to bite. See it right there. And now when you go over these fish attractors, they're amazing to see on your depth finder. They look like Christmas trees in the water.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Filled with all kinds of stuff. So I switched over to a Zoom Pearl white fluke, and I threw it right along the shoreline, and I caught 2.5, 3 pounder. It's kind of thin. It's at least 18 inches.
Oh, that's a nice fish.
So it's clearly not feeding up yet for the spawn, but probably going to be happening soon. So I was throwing the fluke and just letting it drop, and then of course when you do that, you don't feel the bite, and I gut hooked it. It was starting to bleed, and got some blood on Scott's boat, but which we quickly cleaned off afterwards before it dried.
Straight. He's bleeding on your boat.
I should have stuck with the fish attractor. Fishing the fish attractor is a little longer, but we suspect that the fish are moving in close to the shore, staging in the grass, getting ready for the spawn. That's why we're fishing the grass lines.
Whoa.
You can see it's not very thick, but it was long.
Sorry about the blood.
And we cleaned up the blood pretty quick.
Well, that was nice. I got flukes if you want them.
There you see the white fluke. And I'll show a picture of it shortly.
I know.
I don't know if the white fluke is good because it's kind of turbid, the water. It's easy for the fish to see it, or easier for the fish to see it. We were visited by the game warden, and I'll talk about that in a moment, right after we see Scott's fish coming up right here. Just before we started catching fish, the game warden stopped and interviewed us. They asked us how many fish we were catching. And at that time, we were skunked. And he said most people weren't catching, most bass fishermen were skunked yesterday or the day of this trip. There's Scott catching his first fish.
The skunk is gone.
And he caught it using the Bomber fat-free citrus shad. And he was, it's about 12, goes down about 10 feet, and we're fishing in probably less than 10 feet of water, so he's hitting the sandy bottom and throwing it right to the shoreline, to the grass line. And that was kind of the ticket today. You know, we're figuring the fish are staging in the grass, getting ready to spawn. And, it would have been nicer to get into the grass, and we tried that a little bit, but it's kind of hard on a boat, easier on a kayak. And you could go in there and get stuff when you get stuck, because you're certainly going to get stuck in that grass. But that's why I threw the shad too, because I was pulling it through the grass a little bit. Unfortunately, these were the only 2 fish we caught today. At this point, it was probably around 2 in the afternoon. We started early. We started around, I mean, we started late. We started around 11:15. Got on the water.
What?
Here you see the cypress trees
Oh, really?
populating the shoreline here. These are usually pretty nice areas to fish. But it was getting later in the day, and I think the bite kind of slowed down. There was very few little boat traffic on the water, so that was nice.
Is it really flat?
Yeah, we didn't
down
really
there?
have any boats come up to us except or near us except the game warden.
You see some of these people, they're kayaking down there.
It was funny. We were fishing, and all of a sudden I said, "What's this guy doing?" You know, he's coming right up to us, and Scott said, "That's the game warden." You can see the water level looks a little low, but there was some. Scott was saying there's 20-mile-an-hour winds last week, which could have, pushed the water up higher in this area, or just splashed up into the base of the trees. We only fished this southern part of the lake. We didn't go, and not even a lot of it, because this lake is pretty big, and but there are other spots we could try, and I would like to try it. I haven't done in a while.
I didn't start till I was.
It all depends on the wind direction, because the lake is pretty big, and you get on the
31, 30.
windward side or the leeward side, I forget, and you could get blown around pretty good.
Never heard of that one. I heard of Fuller Brush.
Well, Goody was.
You can see I threw this fluke most of the day. The other things I threw the Carolina rig. You can see I threw that June bug worm. It's hanging there. That's a June bug yum dinger, and I've had a lot of success on this lake with that. And what I do is I use a bullet weight, which I color with
right along the edge of the dock there.
Nail polish to match the worm.
Yeah.
And that's a trick I learned online from somebody who posted a video. And you could use nail polish to color these weights to match the lure. And he did some experimentation where he showed how different,
how much was the,
how better off you are with a weight that matches the bait. And it makes sense. I mean, there's really, I guess there's baits that have multiple colors in it. The other thing I wanted to mention is you saw the citrus shad that Scott was throwing,
to match the boat.
and he had some hits on it as well as catching that fish. But again, today was a light colored day, and I got nothing on that yum dinger, the June bug yum dinger. Although I've done very well with that before.
It's vinyl.
I tried a Rapala crankbait and a few other things, but a white spinnerbait would have been a good thing to throw today as well.
Is it just like a rectangle?
But I wanted to throw it at the edge of the grass. I know the fluke wouldn't get hung up, so I stuck with that most of the day. And what I would do is I would throw it. I would just let it sink. And then the problem is you don't feel the bite, and I gut hooked. That's why I gut hooked that fish, because it went into the gut before I was able to feel it and pull on it and yank it and hook it. The southern section of the lake has a lot of docks. You could fish the docks. You could spend your whole day fishing docks if you like. Okay, so we're heading back to the ramp. Again, there's very little traffic today. It was kind of nice. Next week there's going to be a tournament, so I don't know. I'm sure if it's going to be worthy fishing, because people are going to be pre-fishing the tournament. And there's Scott going to get his truck. We had a little bit of an issue when we were launching. Turns out that when he put his water in the water bottle, he hit the kill switch. So he puts me in the water and says, "Start the boat." He's going to go park the truck, and I couldn't start it. And what was really unusual is that it wasn't fully shut off. So when I turned the key, it kind of was trying to turn over, but wouldn't. So I didn't even think I looked at the kill switch and it looked fine. But had I played with it a little bit, I would have noticed that it wasn't fully engaged. So luckily, I didn't have to drift out. I was able to grab the one of the bow hooks and I'm not bow hooks. The dock hooks and hold the boat till he came back. Otherwise, I would have had to probably put on the trolling motor to get it back to where he can get on the boat. Now he's power receiving. This boat is too heavy to winch up with the strap, so he had to push it with the motor all the way on until it basically was in position, which is quite a challenge and a skill. That's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time.